What's going on, guys? OneEyedBandit back again with yet another video talking about more Dragon Ball FighterZ. And I did a poll not too long ago. I've been sick. Honestly, I made this poll 5 days ago, and 6 days ago is when I got sick, and it hasn't been well for me, but I'm back now and I'm ready to record, I'm ready to post, I'm ready to upload, I'm ready to get back on the grind. And I'm gonna start with this post here. I did a poll asking if we had a choice, what would you rather have, FighterZ 2 or Naruto FighterZ? And I gotta say, I'm very disappointed in the lot of you. I'm disappointed. I'm so disappointed. Naruto FighterZ deserves to be a game. 43% of you would rather have Naruto FighterZ over FighterZ 2, and FighterZ 2 is winning. 57% of you want FighterZ 2 over Naruto FighterZ. Why? What is the matter? What are you dealing with at home? But anyway, I kind of want to just go over some of these comments and seeing what different people think about the idea of FighterZ versus Naruto FighterZ. Because let's start by saying Naruto FighterZ is something that might not ever happen, honestly, if we're keeping it a stack. And the reason is being it has to have already been in development for it to ever get announced. Honestly, if it got announced tomorrow, that means it's been in development for a really long time already, and we could rejoice. But because it hasn't, and is most likely not in development, because Arc System Works has obviously picked up FighterZ as an IP. They have Guilty Gear they are working on. There's probably no more room. Grand Blue Versus was also a recent game that came out. There's no more room. They most likely don't have the time and the resources to pick up yet another IP with Naruto. But people want that anyway, but it's not realistic. But it's something that the community talks about all the time, and it's something that I would personally want. Now, I almost want to say this is, I feel like people are saying they want FighterZ 2 over Naruto FighterZ because they probably connect more with FighterZ. They connect more with Dragon Ball. They enjoy Dragon Ball more than they do Naruto. But it's funny because to me, Naruto makes more sense because it's a three-person based team game or a team show. Like, obviously you have a captain and then you have 3 students under them, and you know, they fight together. It makes sense. So it's a dream that we hope lives one day, but as it stands right now, it's probably not happening. Now, FighterZ 2 on the other hand can definitely already be in development. Once FighterZ probably got its first year in analytics on how much money it made and all of this different stuff and how well it was doing, FighterZ 2 probably already started development, even though they are still actively putting out DLC. They are still actively fine-tuning the game. FighterZ 2 is a definite possibility. The thing is, with FighterZ, it is the type of game that can constantly be updated, which is a very good thing for us. We are almost entering the 3rd year of the game being alive, which is actually insane because it already almost feels like 4, but because of season 4, but we're only going into year 3. And for a fighting game, honestly, this game is personally still a baby. But you gotta think, we are entering into next generation consoles, and not only are we entering into next generation consoles, FighterZ 2 would give Arc System Works the opportunity to add things that weren't possible in FighterZ. So for those people who, like, let's just scroll through here. I think let's just scroll through here. I think next season for FighterZ is more efficient because this game can evolve better and more better in every season, and sequel just throw away the potentials. This is completely false, honestly. And the reason I say this is because if a new game is to come out, this means more mechanics can be added, fine-tuned, things just become better with a second game. I like to use Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1 versus Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 as an example. If you've ever played Xenoverse 1, then you know how drastic the changes in Xenoverse 2 were that made the game way better. Yes, you can go from season to season, but you can only tweak things little by little. And with a brand new game, you have that time, you have that development to make the game an even better counterpart than its first predecessor. This guy, Dragon Ball FighterZ hasn't been around long enough. Other anime deserve the treatment. I would love DBFZ2 later though, and one thing I'd like is an actual fight slash hover mechanic. In one of the interviews they said the game started with one, but they couldn't figure out how to balance it in time. So I think it'd be cool if they revisited that idea. So this guy is totally right. They did talk about how they wanted to add a mechanic to put into the game to simulate flight, but sadly they ran out of time and we ended up with Super Dash, and we all know how Super Dash is. So with a FighterZ 2, we could easily get this new flight mechanic that doesn't involve a 180 Super Dash to the face. These are things that you have to really consider when talking about a new game. But he is right, the game hasn't been around quite long enough. It's still a baby, but FighterZ 2, again, like I'm saying, is a very good opportunity to add new and better things. You guys just have to understand, a FighterZ 2 isn't just an update, it's a whole new game. It's a whole new game. I feel like that's what a lot of people, because when I was reading through these while I was sick, a lot of people I feel like they didn't quite understand that aspect of it. But he's right again. A Naruto, a new game, a new anime game with an ArcSys type of development would be amazing, honestly. And so now we come to here. I honestly don't know why you were so fixated on FighterZ 2. In my eyes, it makes no sense to introduce this game, especially this time around. What would they change anyway? So again, I've already said what could happen, the possibility of a new FighterZ happening. This guy, I mean, I talked to him about it. I said what could possibly happen for FighterZ 2. Mentioning it in a video doesn't mean I'm fixated on it. Plus, yes, a FighterZ 2 is a very practical. Next gen systems are on the horizon, like I was saying. And on top of that, newer mechanics are easier to add from the ground up. The possibilities of FighterZ 2 already being in development is very likely, again, due to how well this game is doing. And this is probably the biggest thing here. I forgot about this. Rollback netcode. The rollback netcode people want is most likely not going to happen for FighterZ, because one, it's hard to add in an already delayed base game netcode. It's already hard to add that. So if you were to start from the ground up with a brand new game, you would have something beautiful. Most likely you would get your rollback netcode that people keep asking for. Naruto FighterZ would go hard, bro, and I think Dragon Ball FighterZ is fine where it is at. Add some new DLC and some tweaks to quality of life. It can be solid for a while. And yes, again, I agree. I totally agree. I think FighterZ is in a great state. But again, I'll always go back to what it could. I'll always go back to the possibilities of what it could be with a FighterZ 2. And again, the funny part is, this is literally just of if we had a choice. If we had a choice between Naruto FighterZ or another anime FighterZ versus a FighterZ 2, what would you want? And most people, again, me, I'd want a different anime. Naruto preferably. It would be beautiful. It would look beautiful and it would be great. I personally think it would be dope if ArcSys was able to pick up the IP for Naruto, and instead of making a FighterZ 2, the sequel to FighterZ would actually be another anime FighterZ, right? So it'd be you know, obviously we have Dragon Ball FighterZ, and then it'd be Naruto FighterZ, which would technically be the sequel to FighterZ, but obviously newer mechanics, better looking with next gen on the horizon. Obviously, just it would be dope if they could just pick up a different IP for every installment of the game or something like that. Very unpractical, I'm sure, but mainly because they already have the basis of all the characters within this game and stuff like that. But yeah, and on top of that, when we do talk about FighterZ 2, if it's anything like Mortal Kombat, from game to game, certain characters don't even show up. Like Mortal Kombat 11, for instance, is one of the hot topics for Melina. She is a very popular Mortal Kombat character, but she isn't in Mortal Kombat 11. So that could easily be the case if they were to drop FighterZ 2. We could see a drop off in the roster again, and they could start completely fresh with different characters and brand new DLC and stuff like that. And you wouldn't have the character that you've known for so long within FighterZ and FighterZ 2. I kind of doubt that. I feel like if we did get a FighterZ 2, we would have all of these characters, and then of course add more. But again, we'll never know until it actually gets announced or something like that. But as it stands right now, I feel like a different IP would be really dope. And then of course these last few guys. They hit me with One Piece fighters. I don't care for One Piece, but of course it would still be dope. It's an anime game. JoJo's, again, I could care less for JoJo's. Not a good show in my personal opinion. Attack me all you want, but again, could be dope. Bleach could be dope. Jump Force Fighters, this is actually really dope when you really think about it, because Jump Force is a game it's not that good, but taking all of these anime characters and putting them in one universe and having them fight each other is fire. Like, I can't deny that. So to have that in an actual fighting game setting would be sick. So I'm all for that. But anyways, guys, this is just me going over a couple of your comments within this community poll here. If you want to join this community poll, go ahead, subscribe, hit the notification bell, please, so that you can be featured on my channel one day or something like that. This is just fun to do, and it's nice to hear the opinions of people who actually enjoy my channel. So yeah, but anyways, guys, once again, if you had a choice, what would you rather, FighterZ 2 or a Naruto FighterZ? Let me know down in the comment section below. But if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please remember that God and anime are always on your side. Please come join the Bandit Army. That's all I got for you. Peace out.